external auditor, Louisa Yule. I don't know whether, Louisa, you can see everybody that's here or not, but we've got Councillors Grant, Gilbert, Ireland and Convery, plus myself and Miller chairing it. Morven Fraser, thank you very much, Morven, for coming along. Also, I take it you know Morven. And Margaret Clark, Margaret McCross and Barbara Clark from the Treasury. So that's the introductions over. We do have an apology for absence.
Yes, we have apologies from Councillor McLean.
Thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest?
No.
Nothing at all. Silence is golden, right enough. So we can move straight on to the only item of business, is the Treasury Management Strategy Report. And I think Barbara is going to speak in that one.
Okay, many thanks. As part of the SIP for Treasury Management Code of Practice, this committee is responsible for ensuring effective scrutiny of the Treasury Management Strategy and recommending to Council its approval, including the list of investors in Annex F and the policy on the repayment of loan fund advances. It's primarily because of these requirements that I present this to you today. The report is a similar format to that of previous years. Oh, excuse me. Things keep popping up on my screen. So firstly, the policy on loan fund advances is an amendment to the report, and it's in section 3.4 on page 14 and has been updated from the 1st of April this year in line with the requirement of the Act. The Council's policy currently is to repay advances using an annuity method over the asset's life. However, from this date, I'm proposing writing off any new debt using a straight line method instead of annuity, which over the course of the asset's life would be a cheaper option. Secondly, on page 15, I've provided you with some high-level guidance on fiscal flexibilities that the Scottish Government have allowed to address the current COVID pressures. These include the use of capital receipts and a loans fund repayment holiday, both of which will impact on the loans fund repayments charged in the current year and beyond. However, from a borrowing and investment perspective, we're not doing anything different from last year. And in summary, the rest of the report concentrates on the Council's borrowing and investment strategy and sets out parameters that help to monitor both. To allow the Council's borrowing to be controlled, we have set up Prudential Indicators, which monitor the permissible borrowing and allows us to compare this against the actual gross debt. But from the table in page 16, you'll be able to see that we plan not to fully fund capital spend by external borrowing, but instead use the Council's reserve balances as a temporary measure. This is considered both prudent and cost effective, as there is a cost to carry borrowing until it is used. And there's also the possibility of slippage with the capital programme, and therefore the full amount of borrowing may not be required. However, we also need to be careful that the Council takes advantage of borrowing externally at the current historically low rates. The Prudential Indicators have been set using the 21-22 capital programme, and any movement in this will affect how well we keep within the limits set. And later on in the year, I'll come back and provide you with a mid-year and year-end report so that the position can be monitored. With regards to the investment strategy, this is controlled by establishing what types of investment we make, and these are stated in Annex D. And in Annex E, the associated risks are explained. Our primary objectives are always security and liquidity, and this is achieved by not only controlling what type of investment we make, but who we make it with. And in this regard, I've listed out in Annex F a list of counterparties for you to approve today. This list also shows the investment limits to which the Council had to ensure that the Council has a diversified portfolio. The ratings of these bodies are monitored at least on a weekly basis, and if any institution falls below our minimum rating level, then we would remove them from our list. Moving on to the written report, it won't have escaped you that there's a lot of economic background information from our Treasury advisors. And this is provided to give you some context of not only the UK, but the global economic picture. Lastly, as in previous years, the final section of the report is on training. I'm happy to arrange for further training in this area with our Treasury advisors and would ask you to let me know through committee services if you would like this to be arranged. I'm also happy to be contacted at any time should you want a better understanding of any specific area within the report. I'm happy to take any questions just now.
Thanks, Barbara. Does anyone have any questions for Barbara or Margaret? Do no rush.
I think it's probably been answered. The only that I had taken a note of the training section of it, and was going to ask, what is there any plans to provide additional training and what form that would take? But I note that you're asking people to contact you and let you know. Is it what we feel we would require additional training on, or is it just to let you know that we would be open to that?
So if you want us to arrange for our Treasury advisors, if you want us to get link in, if you let committee services know, we can arrange that. But if you want to contact me personally about any specific area in the report or any doings within Treasury, I'm happy to be contacted and give you one-to-one discussion.
With the link, getting link in, would that be for something to be put on for all elected members?
Yes. It would be for everybody. Traditionally, we've arranged this in the past. It's not had a great take-up, if I'm honest, but I'm sure those that have attended have got a lot out of it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
It tends to be every couple of years we have a sort of refresher from Link. It can be quite technical, but we usually get quite a lot of interesting questions. But as Barbara said, it's open to everyone, but not everyone comes along. And if you feel that that's too big and broad a range for you, then any area you particularly feel you want to know more on, then it doesn't need to be part of this report. It can just be in general. Then you can come to myself or Barbara, and it might well be that what you would like yourself might be very relevant to 2 or 3 members who just haven't dared ask yet. So we'd be happy to arrange what you feel is required.
Thank you very much.
Linda.
I was just going to add that we will definitely look at Treasury management training for induction after the elections in 2022. It's just a case of anything that needs to be done in the interim that we would need to work around, but it'll definitely be looked at in terms of induction for members.
I think that makes sense for any new councillors or any existing councillors coming on to the Audit and Scrutiny Committee. Any further questions?
Maybe before we leave it, I can just assure everyone that all of the figures in the report here have been brought up to date as far as we possibly can. They reflect all of the latest capital plans that will be going up to council on Monday next week. So although we haven't had a huge amount of new projects added to our 10-year capital plan for this refresh this year, there have been a few changes in phasings and changes in costs of individual projects, and we've brought that all up to date. So that's what's been reflected in the figures there. And as Barbara said, the changes that we've added in, it's the usual report that you see every year, and you'll get your updates on it during the year and at year end. But the changes are on, this is the first year that we moved to the new implementation of the Act on the loan charge, the loans fund repayment methodology. And it's also obviously the first year that we've had to give you a wee update on the potential fiscal flexibilities that we might have to call into play to address COVID costs. But there'll be further reports on that as things materialise. We think there'll be quite a lot of continuing COVID grants announced over the coming months. It seems that we've not heard of them all yet, and we won't be able to fix exactly what fiscal flexibilities we need to apply, if any, until we have a clearer picture of both the pressures and the levels of grant that we're going to get for COVID. So that's just kind of the broader background to this.
Right, thank you very much. Does any external auditors want to say anything? Morven or Louisa? No. Okay. Well, that's us done for today. Okay. The next meeting's next week, and can I guarantee you the agenda will be a bit longer. Right. Okay. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody, and we'll maybe see you in a few minutes' time for the next meeting. Right.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
See you all soon.